The stars looked beautiful through the window of the spaceship. Captain Jinwoo stood on the bridge and watched them. He was a human, one of the newest members of the Galactic Council. Earth had joined the Council only 3 months ago. Everything was still new and strange. Jinwoo was tall with dark hair and calm eyes. He had been a soldier on Earth for many years. Now he was the captain of a human spaceship called Endeavor. His crew trusted him. He was smart and brave. Dr. Minho worked next to him. Minho was the ship's scientist. He studied aliens and their bodies. Right now he was looking at data from their space probes. Everything seemed normal and quiet. Suddenly a loud beep came from the communication station. Lieutenant Suho looked up from his screen. His face went pale. Suho was young but very good at his job. He never looked scared. But now he looked scared. "Captain, we have a problem. There is a distress signal from Sector 7. It is from the Harmony. That is the diplomatic ship. Ambassador Taehyun is on that ship." Jinwoo felt his heart beat faster. Taehyun was his friend. They had trained together on Earth. Taehyun was smart and kind. He had been chosen to represent humans on the diplomatic ship. The Harmony carried ambassadors from 12 different alien species. It was supposed to be safe. What happened? Jinwoo asked. Minho turned to his computer. His fingers moved fast over the keyboard. Then he stopped. His face became very serious. He looked at Jinwoo with wide eyes. "It is the Vrakesh. 2 of them have boarded the Harmony." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stopped working. Everyone knew about the Vrakesh. They were the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. They were monsters. They were killers. The Vrakesh came from a death world. A death world was a planet where everything tried to kill you. Only the strongest and fastest creatures could survive there. The Vrakesh had survived. They had become the ultimate hunters. A Vrakesh was 3 meters tall. That was very tall. It had 4 arms and 4 eyes. Its body was covered with hard armor like a giant insect. This armor could stop bullets. It could even stop laser fire. The Vrakesh had long claws that were sharp like knives. These claws could cut through metal. They could cut through anything. But the worst thing about the Vrakesh was their speed. They moved like lightning. They were faster than any other creature in the galaxy. When a Vrakesh decided to kill you, you died. There was no escape. There were no survivors. The Vrakesh had destroyed 17 different species. Entire civilizations had been wiped out. The Galactic Council had tried to stop them many times. They always failed. Nothing could stop a Vrakesh once it started hunting. Minho pulled up more information on his screen. The Harmony is evacuating. Most of the crew is getting off the ship. But Ambassador Taehyun is trapped. He is in the diplomatic quarters on Deck 7. He cannot get out. "How many Vrakesh did you say?" Jinwoo asked. 2. The sensors showed 2 creatures on the ship. 2 Vrakesh meant certain death. The Galactic Council had rules for this situation. The rules said to evacuate everyone and then destroy the ship from space. It was better to lose 1 ship than let the Vrakesh escape. No one ever tried to fight them. That would be suicide, but Taehyun was human. He was Jinwoo's friend. Humans did not leave their friends behind. That was not the human way. Jinwoo made his decision quickly. He turned to his crew. "Suho, Hyunwoo, get your gear. You are coming with me. Minho, you have the bridge. Bring us next to the Harmony." Hyunwoo was a Marine. He was big and strong. He had fought in many battles on Earth. He stood up immediately and grabbed his weapon. Suho looked nervous, but he nodded. He was brave even though he was scared. "Captain," Minho said quietly, "the Galactic Council protocols say we should not board the ship. We should wait for the evacuation to finish. Then we should destroy the Harmony." Jinwoo looked at his friend. "I know what the protocols say. But Taehyun is in there. We are not going to leave him." "But Captain, the Vrakesh have never been defeated. No one has ever survived a direct encounter with them. This is a suicide mission." Jinwoo picked up his plasma rifle. He checked the weapon carefully. Then he looked at Minho and smiled. Maybe that is because no one has ever sent humans before. The Endeavor moved closer to the Harmony. Through the windows, they could see the damaged ship. There were holes in the hull. Smoke was coming out. Small escape pods were flying away in all directions. People were abandoning the ship as fast as they could. Jinwoo, Suho, and Hyunwoo went to the airlock. They put on their combat suits. These suits had armor and life support systems. They would protect them in space. But Jinwoo knew the suits would not protect them from a Vrakesh. The 3 men checked their weapons one more time. Jinwoo carried a plasma rifle and a pistol. Hyunwoo had a rifle and a big knife. Suho had a rifle and several grenades. Are you ready? Jinwoo asked. Both men nodded. They were scared, but they were ready. They were human. Humans protected their own. The Endeavor connected to the Harmony. The airlock door opened with a hiss. Cold air rushed out. The Harmony's power was failing. The lights were dim. Emergency alarms were ringing. Jinwoo stepped into the damaged ship. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Suho and Hyunwoo followed close behind. The corridor was dark except for red emergency lights. Everything looked scary in the red light. Stay alert. Stay together. We find Taehyun and we get out. Fast. They move forward into the darkness. Somewhere in this ship, 2 of the galaxy's most deadly predators were hunting, and 3 humans were walking right toward them. The corridor was dark and cold. Jinwoo moved forward slowly. His rifle was ready. Behind him, Suho and Hyunwoo walked carefully. They made almost no sound. All 3 men had been trained as soldiers. They knew how to move quietly. The walls of the corridor had deep scratches. Something with very sharp claws had cut into the metal. The cuts were smooth and clean. It looked like someone had used a giant knife, but Jinwoo knew these were claw marks. The Vrakesh had been here. Stay sharp, Jinwoo whispered. His voice was quiet but firm. Keep your eyes open. They moved to the next corridor. The emergency lights made everything look red. Red lights. Red walls. Red floor. It was hard to see clearly. Jinwoo did not like it. An enemy could hide easily in this light. Then they saw the first body. It was lying on the floor in the middle of the corridor. It was one of the ship's crew members, an alien from a species called the Kelvin. The Kelvin looked like tall birds with 4 arms. This one would never fly again. The body was torn apart. Jinwoo had seen death before. He had been a soldier for a long time. But this was different. This was not just killing. This was destruction. The Vrakesh did not just kill their prey. They destroyed it completely. Suho made a small sound. He looked sick. Even Hyunwoo, who was a tough Marine, looked away. They had never seen anything like this. Keep moving, Jinwoo said. We cannot help them now. We need to find Taehyun. They found 3 more bodies in the next corridor. All of them were torn apart. All of them had died quickly. The Vrakesh were efficient killers. They did not play with their food. They just killed and moved on. Hyunwoo checked his tactical display. This was a small computer on his arm. It showed a map of the ship. The diplomatic quarters are 3 decks up. We need to take the stairs. The lifts are not working. They found the stairs and started climbing. The stairwell was even darker than the corridors. Their boots made soft sounds on the metal steps. Jinwoo went first. He kept his rifle pointed up. If a Vrakesh came down the stairs, he would see it first. They climbed for several minutes. The ship was big. 3 decks was a long way. Jinwoo's legs started to burn from the effort, but he did not slow down. Taehyun was waiting. They had to hurry. When they reached deck 7, they stopped. Jinwoo held up his hand. Everyone froze. They listened carefully. At first, there was nothing. Just the sound of the ship's damaged systems. Air moving through vents. Distant alarms. The hum of dying power systems, then they heard it. Click, click, click. It was a strange sound. Like someone clicking their tongue. But it was not a human sound. It was alien. It was the sound Vrakesh made when it was hunting. The sound was getting closer. Jinwoo felt his heart beat faster. His hands tightened on his rifle. Next to him, he heard Suho breathing quickly. Hyunwoo moved to the side, trying to get a better position. The clicking sound grew louder. Whatever was making that sound was very close now. It was just around the corner. Get ready, Jinwoo whispered. Then it appeared. The Vrakesh came around the corner. It was huge. Much bigger than Jinwoo had expected. 3 meters tall, maybe more. Its body was covered in dark armor that looked like metal plates. 4 arms hung from its body. Each arm ended in long claws. The claws were wet with blood. The creature had 4 eyes. All 4 eyes were now looking at them. The eyes were black and cold. There was no mercy in those eyes, no fear. Just hunger. The Vrakesh's mouth opened. It had too many teeth. All of them were sharp. Green liquid dripped from its mouth. The creature made that clicking sound again. Click, click, click. For 1 second, nobody moved. The 3 humans and the alien monster just stared at each other. Then Jinwoo shouted, "Fire, fire now!" All 3 rifles fired at once. The corridor filled with bright light. Plasma bolts flew through the air. They hit the Vrakesh in the chest and arms. The shots made loud cracking sounds. But the Vrkesh did not fall. The armor on its body glowed where the shots hit. The creature shook itself like a dog shaking off water. It looked annoyed. That was all. The plasma fire had not hurt it. Then the Vrkesh moved. It was fast. Faster than anything Jinwoo had ever seen. One moment it was at the end of the corridor. The next moment it was right in front of them. It had crossed 15 meters in less than a second. Yunwoo dove to the left. He rolled on the ground and came up shooting. Suho jumped to the right. He hit the wall hard but kept his rifle up. But the Vrkesh was not interested in them. It was focused on Jinwoo. Maybe because Jinwoo was in front. Maybe because Jinwoo was the leader. The creature's eyes locked onto him. The Vrkesh raised one of its arms. The long claws gleamed in the red light. Those claws had killed so many beings. They had destroyed entire species. Now they were coming for Jinwoo. The claw came down fast. It was moving to cut Jinwoo's head off. This was how thousands of beings had died. Quick, final. No chance to fight back. But Jinwoo had been a soldier for 15 years. He had fought in wars on Earth. He had trained his whole life for moments like this. His body reacted before his mind could think. As the claw came down, Jinwoo's hand came up. His palm hit the Vrkesh's arm, hard. The sound echoed through the corridor. Smack! The Vrkesh's arm was knocked to the side. The claws missed Jinwoo's head by half a meter. The creature stumbled backward. It looked confused. Everything stopped. The Vrkesh stood there. Its four eyes were very wide. It looked at its arm. Then it looked at Jinwoo. Then it looked at its arm again. Suho's voice broke the silence. Did you just slap it? Jinwoo was breathing hard. His hand hurt. Hitting the Vrkesh's arm had been like hitting a steel beam. But the creature's attack had been stopped. The most deadly predator in the galaxy had just been slapped away like a fly. The Vrkesh made a different sound now. Not clicking. Something else. It sounded almost like surprise. The creature took a step back. Then another step. Its four eyes never left Jinwoo. The creature seemed to be thinking. Calculating. For the first time in its life, the Vrkesh had met something that had stopped its attack. Something that was not afraid. Something that had hit back. Slowly, very slowly, the Vrkesh backed away. It moved to the side corridor. Its eyes stayed on Jinwoo the whole time. Then suddenly it turned and ran. The sound of its footsteps faded quickly. The corridor was quiet again. Yunwoo stood up slowly. He looked at Jinwoo like he had never seen him before. Captain, that thing just ran away. A Vrkesh ran away from you. Jinwoo looked at his hand. It was red and sore. He had just done something impossible. He had stopped a Vrkesh with his bare hand. And the creature had retreated. We need to keep moving. Taehyun is still waiting. Let's go. The three men moved quickly through the ship. They did not talk. They were all thinking about what had just happened. A Vrkesh had run away. That should be impossible. But they had all seen it. Jinwoo led the way. His hand still hurt from hitting the creature. But he ignored the pain. They had to find Taehyun. That was all that mattered now. The diplomatic quarters were at the end of a long corridor. When they got there, they found the door was locked. Heavy metal barriers had come down. These barriers were for emergencies. They protected the rooms inside from attacks. Taehyun, Jinwoo shouted. He banged on the metal door with his fist. Taehyun, are you in there? For a moment, there was no answer. Then they heard a voice from the other side. It was weak but clear. Jinwoo? Is that you? Yes. We are here to get you out. Stand back from the door. Yunwoo pulled out a small device. It was a door breaker. He attached it to the lock panel and pressed a button. The device made a high sound. Then there was a click. The metal barriers started to rise. The door opened. Taehyun stood inside. He looked tired and scared. His clothes were torn. He had a small cut on his forehead. But he was alive. When he saw Jinwoo, his face showed relief. He almost fell forward. Jinwoo caught him. I thought I was going to die here. I heard the Vrkesh outside. They were killing everyone. I could hear the screams. You are safe now. We need to go. Can you walk? Taehyun nodded. He took a deep breath and stood up straight. Yes, I can walk. Let's get off this ship. They started moving back toward the airlock. Jinwoo went first. Taehyun walked in the middle. Suho and Hyunwoo protected the rear. They moved as fast as they could. As they walked, Taehyun told them what had happened. The Vrkesh had appeared suddenly. No one knew how they got on the ship. They started killing immediately. The security team tried to stop them. It did not work. The Vrikesh killed them all in seconds. Everyone ran. Some made it to the escape pods. Many did not. Taehyun had been in a meeting when the attack started. He ran to the diplomatic quarters and locked himself in. That was the only reason he survived. They were halfway back to the airlock when Suho stopped. "Wait, do you hear that?" Everyone stopped moving. They listened. At first, Jinwoo heard nothing. Then he heard it. That clicking sound again. Click, click, click. The second Vrikesh was coming. The creature appeared at the end of the corridor. It was just as big as the first one. Just as scary. Its 4 eyes found them immediately. It started walking toward them. Slowly, like it had all the time in the world. The Vrikesh was not running. It was not rushing. It knew they could not escape. It was the hunter. They were the prey. This was how it always worked. "Get ready," Jinwoo said quietly. He raised his rifle. Everyone else did the same. But the Vrikesh did something strange. It stopped walking. It was about 20 meters away. It just stood there, looking at them. Its head moved from side to side, like it was studying them. Then the creature did something even stranger. It made a low sound, a rumbling noise that came from deep in its chest. Its eyes were focused on Jinwoo. "What is it doing?" Taehyun whispered. "I think it is deciding," Hyunwoo said quietly. "It is trying to figure out if we are prey." Jinwoo understood. The first Vrikesh had gone back to the ship. It had told the second one what happened. It had told about the human who had stopped its attack, the human who had slapped it away. Now this Vrikesh was being careful. It was not sure if it should attack. For a creature that had always been the top predator, this was new. This was confusing. Jinwoo made a decision. He lowered his rifle, slowly, carefully. He looked directly at the Vrikesh. He did not look away. He did not show fear. "Captain, what are you doing?" Suho asked nervously. "I am showing it that we are not afraid. Trust me." The Vrikesh watched Jinwoo lower his weapon. Its eyes narrowed. It made that rumbling sound again, louder this time. Then very slowly the creature moved to the side. It stepped away from the center of the corridor. It was making a path. It was letting them pass. "This is insane," Hyunwoo whispered. "Our Vrikesh is letting us go." Jinwoo started walking. He walked slowly. He kept his eyes on the Vrikesh. The creature watched him but did not move. It just stood there waiting. The others followed. Taehyun walked close to Jinwoo. Suho and Hyunwoo kept their rifles ready, but they did not fire. They walked past the Vrikesh, past the most deadly predator in the galaxy. The Vrikesh did not attack. It watched them go. Its 4 eyes followed them until they turned the corner. Then they heard it walk away in the other direction. "What just happened?" Taehyun asked. His voice was shaking. "Why did it let us go?" Jinwoo kept walking. He did not answer right away. He was thinking about what the Vrikesh had done. It had studied them. It had evaluated them. And it had decided not to attack. I think it recognized us, not as prey, as something else. Something equal, maybe something more dangerous. They reached the airlock without seeing either Vrikesh again. The Endeavor was waiting. The airlock door opened and they rushed through. As soon as everyone was inside, the door closed and sealed. They were safe. On the bridge, Minho was waiting. His face showed relief when he saw them. "Captain, thank goodness." "I was worried." "Did you encounter the Vrikesh?" "Yes, both of them." Minho went pale. "Both, and you survived?" "Not just survived." Jinwoo slapped one of them. "And they both let us leave," Suho said. He was still amazed by what had happened. Minho stared at them. He did not speak for a long moment. Then he sat down in a chair. He looked like he might faint. "Do you understand what this means? No one has ever survived a direct encounter with a Vrikesh, never. And you not only survived, you made them retreat. This will change everything." Jinwoo looked out the window at the damaged Harmony. The Vrikesh were still on that ship, but they were not killing anymore. They had found something they had never found before. They had found beings who were not afraid, beings who could fight back. "Get us out of here, Minho, and send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them what happened. Tell them everything." The Endeavor moved away from the Harmony. Inside the damaged ship, 2 Vrikesh watched the human vessel leave. They did not follow. They had learned something important today, something their species had never learned before. They were not the only apex predators in the galaxy. The message reached the Galactic Council 3 hours later. The council was meeting in the Great Chamber. This was a huge room on the council station. Representatives from hundreds of species sat in rows that went up to the ceiling. Every important decision in the galaxy was made here. The council speaker was a tall being from a very old species. They had been doing this job for 50 years. They had seen many things: wars, peace treaties, the birth of new civilizations, the death of old ones, but they had never seen anything like this. The speaker read the message from Captain Jinwoo 3 times. Each time they could not believe what they were reading. Finally, they spoke to the council. Members of the council, we have received a report from the human vessel Endeavor. Captain Jinwoo and his crew have rescued Ambassador Taehyun from the Harmony. They encountered 2 Vrakesh during the rescue mission. The council chamber became very quiet. Encounters with Vrakesh never ended well. Everyone expected to hear that the humans had died, but the speaker continued. According to the report, Captain Jinwoo physically stopped a Vrakesh attack with his bare hand. Both creatures retreated and allowed the rescue team to leave. All humans survived. The silence broke. The chamber exploded with noise. Representatives started shouting. Some were shouting in disbelief. Some were shouting questions. Some were just shouting, "Impossible! This must be a mistake. Vrakesh do not retreat." The speaker raised their hand. The chamber slowly became quiet again. I have reviewed the security footage from the Harmony. The human report is accurate. Captain Jinwoo did deflect a Vrakesh attack. The force measurement shows it was significant, more powerful than any recorded Vrakesh strike. Counselor Daehyun stood up. He was the senior human representative. He was an old man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had been a diplomat for 40 years. He knew how to speak to the council. "Honorable Speaker, if I may speak." "You may, Counselor Daehyun." Daehyun walked to the center of the chamber. All eyes were on him. "I believe I can explain what happened, but first I must tell you about Earth." He pressed a button on his tablet. A hologram appeared above the chamber. It showed Earth, the beautiful blue and green planet that humans called home. This is our world. By Galactic Council standards, Earth is classified as a death world. The gravity is 1.5 times the galactic standard. The weather is extreme. We have hurricanes that can destroy cities, earthquakes that split the ground, volcanoes that block out the sun. The hologram changed. It showed Earth animals: lions, bears, sharks, crocodiles. All the predators that humans had lived alongside for millions of years. Our world was filled with dangerous creatures. Humans did not start at the top of the food chain. We climbed there. We fought for it. We evolved to survive against predators that could kill us easily. Another representative spoke up. They were from a species called the Feln. The Feln were small and weak. They came from a gentle world. But what does this have to do with the Vrakesh? Daehyun smiled. Everything. You see, humans evolved to be strong. Our bones are very dense. Our muscles are very efficient. Our reaction time is very fast. This is normal for us. But compared to most species in the galaxy, humans are incredibly powerful. Dr. Minho stood up. He had been invited to speak to the council. He was nervous, but he had important information to share. "May I add something, Counselor?" "Please do, Doctor." Minho walked to the center. He looked at all the representatives. "I have studied the Vrakesh for many years. They are apex predators, but they are also very intelligent. They understand the food chain. They know their place in it." He pressed a button. The hologram showed a Vrakesh. Then it showed the moment when Jinwoo had slapped the creature's arm away. The representatives watched in amazement. When Captain Jinwoo deflected the Vrakesh attack, something important happened. The Vrakesh realized that humans are stronger than they are, faster, more powerful. In that moment, the Vrakesh understood. Humans are higher on the food chain. A representative from the Korth species stood up. The Korth were warriors. They had fought the Vrakesh before. Many Korth had died. "Are you saying that humans are more dangerous than the Vrakesh?" Daehyun chose his words carefully. "Not more dangerous. More capable. Humans come from a world that forced us to become strong. We did not choose this. It is simply how we evolved." The chamber was silent. Everyone was thinking. For thousands of years, the Vrakesh had been the terror of the galaxy. Entire species had gone extinct because of them. Whole civilizations had fallen. And now they were learning that humans, the newest members of the council, were even stronger. Some representatives looked scared. Some looked impressed. Some looked both. The speaker spoke again. What you are telling us is significant. If humans can stop the Vrkesh, this changes everything. We have lost so many to these creatures, so many good beings. Jinwoo was brought to the council chamber. He stood in the center. All the representatives looked at him. He was just a man. Average height for a human, not particularly big or scary looking. But he had done something no one else in the galaxy had ever done. The speaker addressed him directly. Captain Jinwoo, please describe what happened in your own words. Jinwoo told his story. He spoke clearly and honestly. He did not try to make himself sound brave. He just told the truth. The Vrkesh had attacked. He had reacted. His training had taken over. He had defended himself. I did not think about it. I just acted. The creature was trying to kill me, so I stopped it. That is all. That is all? A representative laughed. It was not a mean laugh. It was a laugh of amazement. Captain, you made the most feared predator in the galaxy run away. That is not nothing. Jinwoo did not know what to say. He just stood there. He felt uncomfortable with all this attention. He had just been doing his job. He had been saving his friend. Over the next few days, more reports came in. Vrkesh across the galaxy were changing their behavior. They were avoiding human ships. Some Vrkesh had even been observed testing their prey before attacking. They would make a small strike first. If the prey could deflect it, the Vrkesh would leave. Millions of years of predatory behavior were being rewritten, all because one human had slapped a Vrkesh. The Galactic Council had an emergency session. They needed to decide what to do. The Vrkesh had always been treated as mindless monsters. Kill on sight. Destroy them before they destroy you. That was the rule. But now things were different. The Vrkesh had shown intelligence. They had shown the ability to learn, to adapt. Maybe they were not monsters after all. Maybe they were just creatures trying to survive. Daehyun proposed a new idea. What if we tried to communicate with them? What if we tried to make peace? Many representatives thought this was crazy. Make peace with the Vrkesh? Impossible. They were killers. They could not be trusted. But others thought it might work. If the Vrkesh could recognize humans as equals, maybe they could recognize other species too. Maybe the killing could finally stop. The council voted. It was close. But the decision was made. They would try to make contact with the Vrkesh. They would try to make peace. And they asked Jinwoo to lead the mission. 6 months passed. Many things changed in that time. The galaxy was learning to see the Vrkesh in a new way, not as monsters, not as mindless killers, but as intelligent beings who could learn and adapt. Jinwoo led a team of scientists and diplomats. Their job was to make contact with the Vrkesh. It was dangerous work. Even though the Vrkesh were acting differently, they were still deadly predators. One wrong move could end badly. Dr. Minho was part of the team. So were Suho and Hyunwoo. They had been there at the beginning. It was right that they should be there for this too. The team traveled to a Vrkesh world. It was a harsh planet. Hot and dry with giant mountains and deep valleys. Everything on this world was built to survive. Just like the Vrkesh themselves. The Endeavor landed on a flat area near a Vrkesh settlement. The team wore their best diplomatic uniforms. They carried no weapons. This was important. They needed to show the Vrkesh that they came in peace. As they walked toward the settlement, Vrkesh appeared. Dozens of them. They surrounded the human team. Their claws clicked on the hard ground. Their 4 eyes watched everything. Suho looked nervous. There are so many of them. Stay calm, Jinwoo said quietly. Remember, they are just as curious about us as we are about them. One Vrkesh stepped forward. It was bigger than the others. Older, too. Scars covered its armor. This was a leader. A survivor. It had lived a long time in a world where only the strong survived. The Vrkesh spoke. The translator that Minho had built turned the clicking sounds into words. You are the human who struck our kind, the one who showed strength. Jinwoo stepped forward. He looked up at the huge creature. Yes, I am Jinwoo. I came here to talk. To learn about your people. To see if we can live in peace. The Vrkesh made a rumbling sound. Peace, that is an interesting word. We do not have this word in our language. We have only survival. Hunt or be hunted. Kill or be killed. Minho spoke up. But you let us leave the harmony. You could have killed us, but you chose not to. Why? The Vrkesh looked at Minho, then back at Jinwoo. Because you are like us. You are predators. You are strong. When predators meet, they can fight. Or they can respect each other. We chose respect. Over the next few weeks, the team stayed with the Vrakesh. They learned about their culture, their history, their way of life. It was fascinating. The Vrakesh were not evil. They were not cruel. They were simply doing what their nature told them to do. They hunted because they were hunters. They killed because that was how they survived. For millions of years, nothing had ever challenged them. They had been alone at the top. But now they had met humans, and humans had shown them something new. There could be beings who were just as strong, just as capable, and those beings did not have to be enemies. The old Vrakesh leader, who had chosen the name Young-Ho after learning about human names, spent many hours talking with Jinwoo. They talked about hunting, about survival, about what it meant to be a predator. "My people have been alone for so long," Young-Ho said one day. "We thought we were the only ones who understood strength. But you humans, you understand. You know what it means to fight, to struggle, to survive." Jinwoo nodded. Earth was not an easy world. We had to fight for everything. We had to become strong or we would have died out, just like you. Young-Ho made a sound that the translator said was laughter. "Then perhaps we are not so different. Perhaps we can learn from each other." The Galactic Council was amazed by the reports coming back. Humans and Vrakesh were working together, learning from each other, building trust. After 3 months, Young-Ho agreed to come to the council. He would be the first Vrakesh to ever attend a council meeting. The first Vrakesh ambassador. The day of the meeting was historic. The council chamber was full. Every species wanted to see this. The creature that had terrorized them for so long was coming in peace. When Young-Ho entered, the chamber became silent. The huge Vrakesh walked slowly to the center. His claws clicked on the floor. His 4 eyes looked at all the representatives. Many of them moved back in their seats. Fear was hard to forget, but Young-Ho did not attack. He did not threaten. He simply stood there waiting. The speaker addressed him. "Welcome, Ambassador Young-Ho. You are the first of your kind to stand in this chamber in peace. We hope this is the beginning of a new era." Young-Ho spoke. His voice was translated for everyone to hear. "I stand before you not as a predator, not as a killer, but as a representative of my people. For too long we have been at war with the galaxy. This was not because we are evil. It was because we did not understand that there could be another way." He turned to look at Jinwoo, who stood with the human delegation. "The humans showed us this other way. They showed us that strength does not have to mean violence, that predators can coexist, that there can be respect between equals." A representative from a species that had lost many to the Vrakesh stood up. Her voice was shaking. "How can we trust you? How do we know you will not kill again?" Young-Ho looked at her. "I cannot change the past. My people have done terrible things. We have killed many. We have caused much pain. For this I am sorry, but I can promise you this. We will not hunt the people of the council. You are under our protection now. Any Vrakesh who breaks this promise will answer to me." It was a powerful moment. The chamber was silent. Then slowly one representative started clapping. Then another, then more. Soon the entire chamber was applauding. After the meeting, there was a reception. Representatives came to meet Young-Ho. They were nervous but curious. Some asked questions. Some just wanted to see a Vrakesh up close without fearing for their lives. Young-Ho found Jinwoo in the crowd. The two of them stood together. A human and a Vrakesh, natural enemies who had become friends. "Thank you," Young-Ho said. "Without you, my people would still be alone, still feared, still killing. You gave us something we never had before. What is that?" Jinwoo asked. "A chance to be more than our instincts, a chance to choose our path." Jinwoo smiled. "That is something all beings deserve." In the months that followed, more Vrakesh joined the Galactic Council. They became protectors instead of predators. Their strength was used to defend the weak instead of prey on them. They became valuable members of galactic society. The change was not easy. There were incidents. Some Vrakesh struggled to control their instincts. Some species struggled to trust them. But slowly things got better. Humans became known as the bridge builders, the species that had brought peace where there had only been fear. They had shown the galaxy that even the most dangerous creatures could change, could grow, could become something more. Years later, Jinwoo retired from active duty. He became a teacher. He taught young humans and young Vrakesh together. He taught them about respect, about strength, about how to use power wisely. One day, a young human student asked him a question. "Sir, is it true that you defeated a Rakesh with just your hand?" Jinwoo smiled. "I did not defeat it. I just showed it that I was not prey." That made all the difference. A young Rakesh in the class spoke up. "You changed our entire civilization with one action, one moment of courage. How did you know it would work?" "I did not know," Jinwoo admitted. "I was just trying to survive. But I learned something that day. The most powerful weapon is not strength or speed or claws. It is understanding. When we understand each other, we can find peace." The story of the slap became legend. Children across the galaxy learned about it. How one human had faced the deadliest predator and had chosen not to kill but to teach. How that one moment had changed everything. The Vrakesh were no longer feared. They were respected. They had found their place in the galaxy, not as monsters, but as equals. And it all started with a single slap.